So, the talented Mr. Jim Carrey is not very bright. The other day he said something about socialism and that we need socialism and we need to stop apologizing for wanting socialism and all that. And I was thinking, oh my God, this guy hasn't read history. He doesn't know anything about economics. No true economist believes in socialism. Socialism has been debunked logically, historically, scientifically. It just sounds good to children and naive people, but in practice it isn't. Socialism is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Sounds good, sounds virtuous. Oh, the good Samaritans, we want free this, free that, but never addresses who works for the free stuff. You know, the people who go to the gulags, who end up in the gulags, and who end up being forced to work, because if everything's free, everything is provided for you, whether you work or not, nobody has the incentive to work. And that's how it goes. You start from socialism, you start from a few, rather large governments giving welfare, redistributing wealth, and it slowly ends up to a full totalitarian government that owns everything, and basically nobody works. And then when nobody works, the government has to force some people to work, like slaves. So basically socialism ends up in communism, which is slavery. It's authoritarianism, fascism, whatever you want to call it, same thing. But something that Mr. Jim Carrey doesn't understand, I think he's very talented, he's an amazing comedian, but I don't think he's very intelligent, because he doesn't understand that we already have socialism in the Western democracies, at least. That is socialism. This is socialism. What have you got? You've got a supposedly democratically elected government that taxes the hell out of you. If you consider VAT, income tax, custom fees, hidden taxes in everything, whatever, 70 to 80% of everything you work goes to the government as taxes. So we already have socialism. The government tax you, they redistribute that wealth wherever they think is right, however they see fit, and you feel that you have some say in it because you vote every few years. But that doesn't matter because they're not accountable to your vote. So they promise whatever they want, they don't do it, you can't do anything to them. So basically, this is not democracy. This is socialism. Think about it. We already have socialism. We have massive government powers. We have arbitrary interventionism. We have heavy taxation. And we have lavish welfare for almost everyone. And I say almost because those that are excluded are the people who actually work hard. So basically, a forced redistribution of wealth, regardless of value or effort or ability, is what we have. This is socialism. It's everything that's wrong with society. Socialism is bad. It requires force and totalitarianism to be applied. It takes away the incentive for government workers to work in healthy competition. It also takes away the incentive for people to work if they have welfare and benefits and free guaranteed income, whatever that's called. Different countries call it differently. Basic guaranteed income. It gives the recipients of charity, let's call welfare charity now, okay? It gives the recipients of such charity the entitlement to welfare. And it disallows the voluntary aspect of giving to charity. Voluntarism in human affairs, as Stefan Molyneux said, is the difference between rape and lovemaking. That's very, very important to understand. So if you force someone to be charitable, not the same as them wanting to be charitable, because you're not being charitable yourself. You think you're being charitable. You think you have the audacity to think that you're right, but you're forcing someone to do something. Just like slave owners thought that the slaves are being charitable to them for doing their work for them. And socialism, before you get into semantics and all, socialism is a milder form of communism. Still bad, but it can be worse. It's the same substance, different level, different intensity. Don't let socialists confuse you with semantics and dishonest definitions of socialism and communism and statism. Socialism, statism and communism, authoritarianism, totalitarianism and slavery are basically concepts built around the notion of the absolute power of a few over many. This is the exact opposite of the free competitive market. This is why all these filthy rich celebrities and billionaires are vocally supportive of socialism. Because through it, they can rent these state powers to help them monopolize and destroy competition with favorable regulation. This is how they do it. If the government has great powers, then only the big fish can rent out those powers for their own benefit. So it's very hard for small businesses to come and compete with the big fish. This is why big companies always want leftists, always want socialism. If socialism was so against the big fish, why do big fish want socialism? Just think, you're being duped if you're a leftist. If you're a socialist, you're being duped. You're being fooled. So we need freedom. Wake up. It's the only way to go. Socialism is an excuse for enslavement of the population. The more powers we so naively bestow upon government, the more they will get corrupt because they are accountable to no one. Not even voters. Otherwise, they'd be legally bound to broken campaign promises. Think about it. Wake up, naive idiots. Socialism does not work for the people. It works for the oppressors. And you're a naive fool to think otherwise. No taxation and voluntary charity and the balanced, healthy competition that comes from it is the best welfare we need. Thank you for listening.